Why are illegals getting free housing? Well, let's find out. Oh my goodness. So many people hit me up in the comment section talking about, well, Lucas, illegals didn't need a study to get free housing. Okay, what about that? To which we're gonna find out. Okay, that's the only answer I can give you, because I want people to understand when it comes to a study, they actually did. Okay, so everyone who's talking about, well, illegals didn't get studied for the free housing that they're getting, okay, for 150K. They're getting 150K for housing. They can get a study for that. Well, yes, they did. Because as I described in the previous video about reparations, that's how everything starts off with most of the time. It's usually a bill, okay? Now, when it comes to the free housing for illegals, because we're seeing all these headlines, illegals are getting 150K, okay, for a house. This is ridiculous. What about Americans? Yada, yada, yada. What about black people? What about FBA, B1? Listen, let's look into this, all right? What is this free housing that illegals are getting? Well, this all started from a bill, and it started from a senator who introduced this bill. The bill is known as AB 1840. The original title of the bill was called California Dream for All program. They've since changed it to I believe the Housing Assistance Program, something like that. But you can look up the bill and see when it was introduced and the changes that were made to the bill. The senator who introduced this bill is known as Arambula. I believe that's his name. And he introduced this bill. Now, what the bill does is not give 150K to illegals. That's not what it does, okay? You can look it up. What the bill, his goal in introducing this bill, as he said, was to be more inclusive. That was his goal. So there's already a program that helps low-income people to secure homes, okay? And what it does, it allows you to get 20% off of the first payment, something in regards to that translates possibly to around 150K. That's where that number comes from. So what the bill does is that it includes people regardless of their immigration status. That's all the bill does. Because before, it was only for those who were citizens, right? Only those who were of legal status here in the country. Arambula put this bill out and it passed. Because how the bill does, how it works in the state, right? Because there's state and federal. So when it comes to state, in many cases, has a House and they have a Senate. Very much resembling the federal government, right? The House and the Senate. So it passed the House. Passed the Senate. Now it's going to go to the House, the House Assembly, and they're going to see whether or not they pass it, whether or not they have the votes to pass the bill. After it passes the House, okay, from passing the Senate, then it goes to who the governor is. For California, governor is Governor Newsom. That's who the governor is. Governor Newsom either vetoes the bill or he signs it and it becomes law. That's how that process works.
Oh my God! Wow!
So when it comes to this bill, when I mean a study, maybe that's confusing people. What I mean by study is essentially that you have a committee who studies the bill. That's what I mean by study, is that they study as far as the bill that's been presented to them. Whether, how do we achieve it? Where is the money coming from? Who is it going to be for? How they're going to implement it, right? That's all within the study. That's what it's for, okay? That's what I mean by study. So when it comes to illegals potentially getting, into this program, yes, a study was done. They voted on it. It passed. It's going up up the chain, right, of command, all the way up until it meets the governor. That is what's happening. So I want people to understand how this is happening. When it comes to Chicago, when it comes to any other place, by the time you are complaining about it, it's too late. That's why I keep telling y'all, we've got to become politically literate. We have to. Because by the time they're already voting on it, that's a problem. Because if nobody is voiced a concern about the bill, nobody's voiced dissenting opinions about the bill, if their constituency has not voiced, hey, we don't like this bill, then they're going to vote in favor of the bill more often than not. They're going to vote in many cases all along party lines. That's what happens. For this bill, I believe there was like 6 people who didn't vote. They didn't vote no, they abstained from voting, okay? But it passed anyway because they had the numbers. So I want people to understand That is what's happening here. So when you talk about, well, they didn't have a study for this, well, they didn't have a study for that, you have to understand there's a hierarchy. There's a political system in place of how things get passed, all right? If you don't like what's being done, then you have to look at how it came to be. Who allowed it, who did the bill, who did the votes, and vote them out. It's as simple as that. But simply screaming, Democrats, 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 ain't gonna do anything. It's just not. I don't know what to tell you. If you don't want to know who your representative is, then you don't get to complain. It's as simple as that.
He's out of line, but he's right.
So case in point, which is why it's so crucial to understand what is going on. You can look it up in your state. This, I believe, is in Sacramento. Because I believe he represents District like 31. But you can look it up. See what bills are on the docket. See what bills are up to be voted on. We have got to do this. If you can look up the stats of Bronny, if you can look up the stats of LeBron James and compare him with Curry, and then compare him with Michael Jordan, then surely we can look up upcoming bills. Look up, hey, do we have the votes to pass this? Who is my representative that I can talk to and say, hey, I don't like this bill. There's 300 of us who don't like this bill either, okay? And have them contact them, have them leave voice messages, have them leave calls. That is how this is done. We have got to become politically literate, okay? If you expect to have reparations, that is a final boss when it comes to politics, reparations. There's a lot of things that need to be done to get to that final boss. You don't get to just jump to the final boss, or else you can get screwed, right? In any type of scenario, you just don't become lead attorney. If you come fresh out of law school, right, you have to learn. You have to learn the ropes. They're not going to put you on elite cases. That's not what's going to happen. Well, if you're a doctor, you're just not going to go automatically to before and, brain surgery and all this. You're going to have to earn your residency. That's what happens. So when it comes to politics, if that's what you want, there's a lot of steps that need to happen. Okay, we have to have our ducks in line. That's what has to happen in order for reparations to happen. That's what has to happen for any bill or any piece of legislation that we want passed that will benefit us. You have to go via the processes that have been established. And if you don't know those processes, then you are going to be screwed. Then you're going to be winding up upset, like many of these clowns are online, right, in these Twitter spaces. Why is this happening? Why is that happening? Why is this happening? Why they getting money? Why they getting housing? Well, because someone probably voted on it. Because there was a bill that passed. Because either your governor or your mayor approved it. That's how that happened. I would suggest that you stop listening to people who are just going to make you upset. That's it. They're just going to make you upset, but they're not offering any solutions. My solution is that we become politically literate. First step in becoming politically literate, know who is representing you, okay? Know who's representing you just on a local, okay? Just locally. Know who's your representative. And then we can go to federal. That's a first step. That's something you can do right now. Look it up online. Find out, hey, in your area, who's your representative? When are they having meetings? What are the next bills that they're going to be voting on? That's how we win this game. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Let me know what you guys think. Whether or not you believe, you're one of those who are like, FBA family, B1. We're going to demand reparations. That's what we're going to do. We're going to demand it, all right? If the illegals can get this, then we can get that. Or if you don't believe, who are you going to demand it from, bro? Right? A demand is a forceful request, essentially. Who are you going to request it from? You don't even know who represents you. So y'all are just going around in circles screaming in an echo chamber doing absolutely nothing. So stop listening to people who are just giving you hoorah, okay? Stop listening to people who are just giving you pride but nothing to act on that pride. Just letting you know. But y'all do you. Y'all do you. Nevertheless, if you happen to have a disagreement, you know where to find me. Friday through Sunday, disagreement day. You call in, we'll duke it out. Hope you guys enjoy the video. If you did, please feel free to like, share this video. I think it's important. And comment and subscribe and all that fun stuff. Till next time, guys, be amazing. Democrats, 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 Democrats.